3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Nights at the Brown Table, a podcast with three Pacific Islanders sharing our views and the lens through which we see the world. I'm Sefa.
I'm Sila.
To the vast intergalactic space of the interwebs, it is the one and only the songstress, seamstress, and mistress, actress of this generation, representing Samoa, Australia. Ooh, yeah. Lamah, what's up? What's up? Wow, Sila, you're back.
I'm back, but I'm currently in ISO in my room.
Oh, as a correspondent, what's been your experience with your return?
I had the police come and visit me the other day.
Oh,
lucky I just gotten up to brush my teeth. So they just asked me a few questions. And this was pre-brushing of my teeth. And so I felt really bad. I quickly tried to wipe the sommels or sleep from my eyes. And then I was answering the questions from I just opened the door and from a distance I was answering the questions. But they weren't strippers. They were they were real
they weren't carrying a boombox?
I did not get that Magic Mike experience, so sorry about that.
Wait, how do I get those type of officers knocking on my door, asking for a friend?
I think you just call a number.
Oh, okay.
Sefa would know. He previously used to be a dancer.
Oh, fams, it's our 10th episode.
Thank you to everyone for listening, for writing comments and for giving feedback. Good and negative feedback. It really helps us. Thank you.
Thank you to just all the people who are supporting me. I just feel so included into being a mattress. It's been such a privilege to represent other mattresses out there in the world. So thanks to the family, my friends, and all my fans. Love y'all.
This week, there is a new nightclub on the Gold Coast. It has been forced to change its name after being slammed online by hundreds of people, claiming the name of the venue is culturally disrespectful. The Dane Nightclub, which is due to swing open its doors on Orchid Avenue in Surfers Paradise later this month, has copped a barrage of abuse on social media by locals upset by the use of the name of a Maori god, Dane Mahuta. Initial thoughts, go.
I think it's good to clarify that Dane Mahuta actually means the god of forest in the Maori culture. So it's good to get that clarified. As soon as I saw this, I was not feeling it at all. It felt really disrespected for me. One thing that really stood out the most was, I think, the lack of inclusion in terms of having Maori and Polynesian and Pasefika people part of the process. I didn't think that was represented in the process of the creation of the club at all. It just felt like people were jumping on this trendy, oh wow, it's trendy, let's do this, and have no sort of respect in terms of the actual club itself, which is mostly just tiki type themed, which has nothing to do with the meaning of the word or the god.
The outfits were just disrespectful. It reminds me of when people do host a luau night or aloha, and that's how they pronounce it. And then they bring out the costumes that are made out of plastic and whatever. I think for me, when I first saw it, I just thought it was I didn't think it was named after the Maori god until I saw that they had actually advertised it as that. And then a lot of their, when you go to their website, it was the website info said that Tane will host an urban sanctuary where night goers and party animals can indulge their senses. And for me, it was, a lot of the words that they were using was animals and jungle. And I was where are the jungles in New Zealand? I had no idea we had jungles there. It brought up the conversation again of cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation.
Do you think, had they done their due diligence and the theme, the design of it was culturally accurate, would you still have an issue with it? Is it the fact that they're using the name of a Maori god, or is it the inaccuracy to the culture?
Do you think, on the cuff of that question, I feel like it depends on who the owner of the club is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're
agree.
profiting out of a culture that people tend to stereotype and conform into a box. So it's like, oh, you want to call us like people of low ranks, you want to stereotype us as being people that, you know, are factory workers and all that. But when it's trendy for you, you want to use our culture because it's like, oh, it's so cool. Like, oh my gosh.
Oi, shh. Turn off your phone.
What the heck? You're interrupting us.
What the
Disrespect.
What the heck?
Oh, live, another correspondent from isolation, Lawaki. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm good.
We have our first.
Get that phone on.
We have our first caller. How are you?
I'm the condom guy.
I'm dead. Oh my god.
Hi.
Sponsored by Durex.
I've never used one though. I'm so good.
You're literally like, we're a radio station for real,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah, well, I'm just currently at Coles, you know, where the prices are low, and we're buying stuff. Because
Don't you work for Woolworths, though? Aren't you
Yes.
buying from
You know, you
your
gotta-
company's competitor?
You gotta go and you gotta venture out and you gotta see what's on sale there.
Wow,
And then
look
you gotta
at
bring
you.
that up.
I love that.
And-
You're doing your research, your Googles. Love it.
Yeah, I'm doing my buying.
With your Centrelink money. Love it.
That free
Yeah, I
money.
love that.
That free money coming in handy.
Love that for you.
Yeah, I was actually just calling just to let well him know, but now you guys know we're making German cake because we're getting a bit formal with
Oh, can you
we
drop
do-
some off at my door?
Well, if it's as good as Lani's ones, which probably won't, but I mean, he's one cost $70 and I don't have that. Centrelink did not give me enough in the fortnight to be able to buy a German cake from Lani.
One of those, that's above my pay grade, and so my Centrelink money can't afford that cake. So we got to make ours from scratch. Love that for you.
Wait, let's just quickly plug
Yeah,
in
so
like
mine is called Lux Got Cake, condom cake.
My
So
sperm babies.
It comes with
Okay.
some free merchandise like some masks, hand sanitizer.
y'all, it is Sunday today. It is the Sabbath day. You best believe. He hung up himself because he knows.
Okay.
But
That was
I guess like
That's really nice of him to call you and tell you that he's
know.
making cake.
love that.
Does he always do that?
Yeah, he always calls randomly. But I guess plug in Lani Got Cake, who is our friend who makes really great cakes. If you want to get a cake and you want to get all up in there, Lani Got Cake on Instagram.
You want to get up all of it there.
Located in Parramatta.
And it's not named after a Maori god.
Can I just say, this was not planned. I'm so dead. Like, just
Yeah, I know this is like the disrespect. But you have to answer the call while we're recording.
Oh, you said it depends on who
the owner
who
is.
the owner is.
Yeah.
Oh, the owner of it. Yeah, correct.
Having representation from the people is very important if you're going to put together a club as such. And not only just that, I remember I was talking about how people confine us to a stereotype, but when it's trendy for them, they want to use our culture to profit from. Like, oh, that's a bit iffy to me.
When it comes to commercialism, if there's a gap in the market, I understand them going for it. I understand from a commercial aspect. And even when commenting on things like costumes and things like that, like the grass skirts and stuff from those stores, a large portion of it is in Hawaii. They do that a lot, and that's local owned. So it's a rough balance when some people find it acceptable and then others do not. As a whole, it's not unified at one standpoint. This is offensive, you know.
I get what you mean, but those. Like, for example, that's like people in Hawaii, that's Hawaiian people creating that. And so hence why they go and buy all those skirts and whatever. Like, these people who created the nightclub, they're not Maori. Like, they're not tangata whenua. And so for me, like, they had written on their website, they didn't even specify Maori. They said Polynesian.
Yeah.
We don't have, in Samoa, we don't have a god of forests and birds called Tane. And so for me, I was just like, it reminded me of Amanda Seales. She's a black woman in America. She's a bit of an activist. Or she's an activist, not a bit of an activist. If you're going to create a show or a movie about black people, then you need to have an Andre in the boardroom. And so she would say, because if you have someone of black representation or someone of representation of that culture, they can be able to tell you if something's right or even the nuances and things regarding that culture. Like, I think that if you're going to create something in regards to culture, can you just use your own culture? Like, I just don't understand the need to use someone else's culture for commercialism. I'm like, use your own. Like, if you're of Euro descent, then do something about Vikings or about the Greek gods. But I think it's because the whole thing of, like, even with them using the word urban, I'm just like, I just felt it was disrespectful. And to me, it is, because it's something of a sacred nature when it comes to Maori gods and indigenous gods. For me, it was just, I found it was disrespectful.
Can I just say, interestingly enough, what Sila was saying, so when the social media was active on Instagram and whatnot, I was going through and combing through the comments, and there was someone that commented, like, how do you know that there is no representation of Pasefika or Maori people? But I went to see who these people were following, the nightclub was following. So the majority of them are just like white influencers, like fitness type people. And I'm like, that's a fair indication of the audience they're trying to grab into their whole nightclub scene.
When I saw the picture of their stylish uniforms, there was a man with paint painted on his eyes.
Oh my gosh,
from Last of the Mohicans.
Like Apocalypto.
And I was like, that is not Maori.
Is that
I'm like,
the drum?
Just look at these.
The drums.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm like,
and then this woman with these like feather things, and I was like, that doesn't even look like a korowai. Like, what the hell is this? Like, at least do your Googles. With,
it was embarrassing.
Like Maori costume.
Especially if you're gonna specify. I understand that part. If you're gonna specify that we're deriving from the Maori culture, then get it. At least try and make it accurate. Because right now they just kind of tribal. We're gonna grab that costume there. We're gonna grab this aspect. It is not accurate. That part I agree with. I'm just not too bothered with the commercial aspect, only because I understand the need for representation in regards to giving people job opportunities, portraying a more positive and accurate depiction of people, particularly from minorities. But at the end of the day, even if they were to do their due diligence, the point of this place is to make money. That's commercialism.
Yeah, but that's using someone's culture, someone else's culture, in order for you to have gain, for you to get money. Like, in my opinion, that just doesn't sit right. To me, that's cultural appropriation. The fact that you didn't put in research, you don't have someone from that culture in order to be able to give you good discourse and good information, proper information, correct, accurate information on the culture, but you're just using different aspects, like saying jungle and using the words urban and saying that your menu is going to have delicious cocktails that we named after different Polynesian gods. To me, it's disrespectful. Yeah.
So I also saw a comment in the Instagrams when they were still live and active. Somebody said, not only did they call us snowflakes, but they said, people don't realize that the people that have created the club, now they're out of money after putting like $1.5 million into this investment.
But none of that was in research.
I'm like, you invested $1.5 million into this establishment. I mean, and you didn't think to include people of the culture?
Especially in this climate. It's not like this is the first of its kind making this step. I'm not that offended, and I'm not on the side of sensitivity. However, in this climate, you know how it is today. You know how it is. I just think that's a foolish step, that you think you could get away with it now, and that you would have just all this positive press that, oh, look, we're inclusive, but everybody on your executive board is white. That's dumb. Like, you're stupid now. That's on you. You're dumb. You didn't do your research. Not even just into the culture, but also the market as well.
No, I get that. When it comes to different aspects of culture, and then even with just thoughts of how a lot of the times we have emotional ties to certain things. And so, like, for example, if there was a restaurant or a cafe where someone was using their mother's recipes and they use their mother's names within the menu and whatnot, for me, I was just like, oh, I find that beautiful.
It's an homage. Yeah.
But if someone else was to like take that and use it without the family's permission, or the family's, their emotional ties to certain recipes or even the names, I would find that disrespectful because you didn't ask for permission and take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to culture, I apply the same kind of mentality. In my thought, if you have not asked or done proper research and whatever, then you haven't taken into consideration the effect of what you've done. In my mind, I'm like, just call your club Jungle. Like, I don't understand why you have to use something that's sacred to a people and to a culture and use that. I mean, like, just call it jungle. They name things after animals. Like, that's in the jungle. I don't understand what you got to use a culture for.
Sila, where's the jungle in Samoa?
I was like, oh, we've got forests and stuff. I'm like, jungle.
Let
What
me
the
know.
hell is wrong with you?
Let me know so I can run around.
The
So I can run around with a little loincloth.
The added disrespect was the style of music that they were going to have for this.
For real.
I was like, they're playing Circle of Life.
Like, it said that the music was going to be like house and jazz and techno music. And for me, I was just like, what the hell?
Well, I don't know what jungle they've been to.
So I'm curious because there's a lot of Māoris up there. I wonder what they think.
Yeah,
the actual
definitely.
Māori community up in that part of Queensland.
A lot of the Māori community I saw commenting on the Insta page when it was live at the time. And then that's the only reason how I was able to know about it was on Twitter. A lot of Māori people were retweeting it and commenting on how disrespectful it is and how they felt.
There's a few things when it comes to the cultural appropriation aspect. I don't actually agree with that term. Culture is a portrayal of how people live today. That's really it. Take a snapshot of how I live now. Someone who lived 200 years ago in Tonga would not think that's how Tongan culture is lived. They would look at my life and think, no, that's not accurate. So it changes with every generation. So I don't have that much, I guess, sentiment or attachment when other people use it in a certain way because it's just not what it means to me. And so it doesn't change anything to me. It just doesn't bother me. If they want to use it and drag it however it is that they want, I'll say my piece, whether I agree or disagree, but how I live it's not affected by that.
What if you change, okay, so cultural appropriation, yeah. What if you change it to like ethnic appropriation? Would you have the same mindset?
Kind of. It depends on what you mean by ethnic. Do you mean just my skin color or what
Well,
are we talking about?
when I'm thinking about ethnicity, I'm thinking about like my heritage and the traditions and whatnot that are part of my heritage. And when people take that are not of my heritage per se, and then they'll take some of the traditions that are very sacred to us, and then somehow kind of make it gimmicky, like that doesn't really sit well with me.
I understand the offense at the disrespect. That part I do agree with. It is, I think acts are disrespectful, but in regards to describing a process, when it comes to cultural appropriation, I'm like, I don't really agree with the term. I just think that would be disrespectful and it wouldn't sit right with me. But in regards to what I'm going to do and how I live my life, it's not really changed. In the world today, it's part of the process when it comes to globalism and multiculturalism. If I want an integrated society, it's going to come with clumsy attempts at inclusion like this. And there needs to be room for it if we are to be integrated.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I think that when it comes to things of a sacred nature, when it comes to culture, like, for example, when it comes to food, a lot of us have adopted different culinary techniques from different cultures, and we use different seasonings from different cultures. And for me, in my mind, it's in consideration of what you were just saying, in regards to what you were just saying with how we've adopted because of globalism and whatnot. But when it comes to appropriation, I do believe that it's an actual thing. And when we've used specific people's experiences when it comes to either skin color, when it comes to things that are sacred to them, for example, traditions and gods and things of the culture, for me, that is cultural appropriation because you use those things or those aspects of specific cultures, specific ethnicities in order for your money gain. And then we've seen it with how people have appropriated with blackface. And then, for example, in my opinion, when it comes to the Tane Gold, that nightclub, without consideration of the culture and for the things that a group of people hold sacred and dear to them. It's an actuality. And because with colonialism, we've seen that a lot of the time when it has come to people of Euro descent, they've used our people in order for them to have gain. They've taken lands, they've taken people, like they've, stolen people, they've taken culture in order for them to progress in life, when the people who have been stolen from have not received anything except being stolen from.
When it comes to historical context, I agree with it. Something like blackface, if there were a world where that didn't take place, to me, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But because of the history specifically with blackface, I disagree with its use because it is just straight up disrespectful. But when people are getting offended at Chris Lilly for the brown face, to me, it's not a thing. we don't have a history of that. And so I don't have a problem with Chris Lilly's portrayal of Jonah Takalua. And also, when it comes to sacred things as well, I look at it from a religious aspect. There are ways in which people portray things that are sacred to me, but I mean, there's nothing I can do. I feel that I feel wronged by it, and I don't like the portrayal, and I don't like the use of things that I think are important. But in a world where people can do that and they have the ability and technologies there's really nothing I can do.
But you don't think that we have that we should be calling people out in order for them to acknowledge that it's not right and to understand the significance of the way of what they're doing is very inappropriate, so that they are able to understand and grow and educate themselves? I think that's really important for us to do.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good step and a good process to do. I agree with that. My approach is just the assumption that they don't. Not that I wouldn't take the step to try and educate and change their mind, but I'm going to act in the worst case scenario that they're going to ignore it. And so I just have to keep moving and keep going. Like, for example, the Broadway play Jesus Christ Superstar. I don't think that is a good way to portray a religious figure, but nobody says it. Like, nobody said anything to its defense.
A lot of people did at the time.
A lot of people did at the time, but it's continued to run. Its music is still published. There isn't a problem with its publication. But if people were to portray it with another religious figure, like, let's say, Muhammad or Buddha, suddenly there is an uproar for it. So, some of the backlash that has taken place is they said, thank you for sharing your concerns regarding the name of our soon-to-be-opened Gold Coast nightlife venue. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
While our intention was never to offend any culture, we recognize this has been the outcome, which is why we have made the immediate decision to change the name of the venue. We sincerely thank the community for bringing this matter to our attention so promptly and look forward to announcing a new name for our immersive jungle-themed venue in the coming days. I feel like that was written through gritted teeth. I can hear the tension. But they're saying, thank you for bringing that to our attention so promptly. And I was like, oh, why you eat that for? Is it because your club shut down? Why you eat that for?
Dead.
But did you notice that in that comment, and then even with the official statement, that they didn't issue an apology?
Yeah.
They just said thank you to the community for bringing this to our
We never meant to offend anyone.
Yeah, it wasn't our intention, guys. Like, that isn't what we meant. We just really wanted money.
Yeah.
And we thought that the ads would look really cool if we had, like, your Polynesian Maori gods. And so that's the only reason.
With the face paint.
That was...
It's such a bad... It's just not even an apology. Like, just... No.
Yeah, it wasn't an apology. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, it's not. Do you think they should?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you know me, I'm all about accountability. I'm all about accountability. You best believe it.
I wonder what it is that stops people from apologizing for something like this. If I bump somebody on the train, I may not have meant it, but it's still there. I still bump them. And
yeah, big time. It wasn't my intention.
It wasn't my intention, but I did. And I said, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is the thing, though. In a normal situation, when I am hunting someone down and I say, I want to hear the words, I'm sorry, come out of your mouth, people turn to me and say, Sefa, people say, Sefa, you're being petty. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon to witch hunt for an apology, because in real life, people always just blow it out and say, Sefa, you're being petty. So I don't know what makes the difference now.
Have you heard about the I think it's like the language of apologies? There's like 5 different ways or something.
No, I've only heard of 5 love languages.
No? Yeah, so it's the same thing for apologies as well.
What?
That exists. I'm just gonna...
Are you looking it up live because we're a live radio show?
I'm just gonna...
And we get callers?
Oh my gosh! Live!
5 apologies. Okay, so the 5 languages of apology. One is expressing regret, which is saying, I apologize. The second one is accepting responsibility, such as, I was wrong. 3 is making restitution. What can I do to make it right? The 4th one is genuinely repenting. I'll try not to do that again. And the fifth one is requesting forgiveness. Will you please forgive me? So I know for me,
I like that.
mine is accepting responsibility and saying I was wrong. Like taking that accountability, taking a step back, saying, oh yeah, like I've realized what I've done now. Like I'm really...
As in you apologize that way, or that's what you deem to be acceptable as an apology?
Both ways.
Both ways. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard of it explained in that way. And I know that a lot of the time when it comes to apologies, people usually use a combination of not just one, but a few of those ways. And just rereading the statement and the reply to people's IG messages, I can't see any of those ways except the whole thing of changing it.
Yeah, which is restitution. There are different ways that people kind of make apologies. I feel like people just don't really know how to apologize.
Their response is a very diplomatic response.
Yeah.
They're trying to not...
Yeah, true.
They're trying not to acknowledge too much fault to save face. I don't even know what for. I was like, if your demographic was to appeal to the Maori community that is up there, the young Maori population, I don't understand the lack of an apology will kind of make it worse.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get what's in it to not apologize other than your pride.
At the end of the day, we're just all snowflakes.
I ain't.
In regards to its definition, whatever, whether I agree with it or not, I don't like just name calling for the sake of name calling to dismiss anybody's points. I hate that. You can use a more expressive approach than just name calling. That's dumb. I hate it.
Saying that's dumb is name calling.
No, I'm calling the actual thing, the act, dumb. I'm not saying they're a dumb person. Ooh, try to catch me on that. How dare you on this live radio station.
Like, to go off of that, like talking about the TikTok trend that I've seen a lot of people do, and like a lot of people on Twitter have been commenting about it. The TikTok trend is of the song Don't Mind by Eddie Dino. In the song, he talks about people from different Pasefika ethnicities, where he says from Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, Hawaii, Tahiti. And then like usually people do like little dance snippets to it when it's like trending. And I noticed that on Twinder.
Twinder.
Is this a... Oh, wait.
Nah.
Hey, let's make it a thing.
Twinder.
What do you mean, let's make it a thing? You already made it a thing. Can you get your apps right? In case you screenshot the wrong thing and send it to the wrong person?
Wow. Twinder.
Yeah.
Twinder.
A lot of people were reposting clips of girls of different ethnicities who aren't Pasefika and like calling them out and saying, oh, how dare they, it's disrespectful and all this stuff. And for me, when I was watching, I was just like, oh, good on them. It's just an attempt. It's dance. And it's not like a sacred nature of dance. It's just like, they casually dance. I'm like, oh, good on you. It's like, trying it out. I didn't think it was appropriation.
Yeah, I think that's a good distinction that you made as well. It's like it's dance. It's not a sacred dance that they're doing. I feel like it's when I saw the videos, I felt very this is nice.
Like it's trending as well.
Yeah.
Like it's a Polynesian influence and it's trending. Yeah. For me, I was like, first of all, your dancing's trash. That's point number one. Your dancing was trash. Comment on the dancing itself. I was like, no, you're trash. And I saw one of the comments that you guys had sent through on the chat, how they were saying, it's like your exaggerated hip movements. I was like, I understand though, because they're trying to shake parts they don't have.
Yeah.
So I'm like, good on you. You have to exaggerate.
I'm like, engage your core, guys. Engage your core.
Engage your core. You really need to swing the hips but you need to engage your core.
Dead.
Watch our tutorial on the story. Lamah's going to give us a tutorial
of
how to
Love how
do it.
Sefa's going just to sway those hips for everybody. He's gonna show you where the candy really comes
like
from.
The waves of the ocean. His hips do not lie.
So y'all need a table to ride on? Pow!
Boom!
Wow!
Why is the table shaking?
I'm dead. If it was the haka, remember how the whole all of these American schools are doing the haka?
Yes.
I was like, okay, now that's where the line is drawn. But I feel like these people are it's harmless in my view.
And their hakas were trash too.
True.
Trash, man. Trash.
The US Islanders.
Oh no, oi.
Haka,
No,
haka,
honestly,
trash.
that's a real thing. The distinction. It seems that the islanders in the US have become more of a melting pot, and I don't know whether it's maybe they are a bit more disconnected from the homeland than we are. But it's definitely a thing where they all get grouped up into one thing, and they're all expected to know in general what the commercial aspects of Polynesian performance are.
I'm not going to say it's just the US Islanders. I'm going to call out a lot of us Samoans and Tongans who do the haka when you don't understand the meaning of the words and you pull it out at all the weddings and birthdays. But for me, I'm just like, in my mind, why are you doing it? It's not your culture. Like if you're from New Zealand and you're doing it as part of a Maori group, a Maori-led group, or if you've done kapahaka and you understand, from me, I'm just like, oh yeah, go on, like go ahead, because you understand the meaning and everything. So I'm not just going to say it's the US Islanders, because I've seen a lot of Aussie Islanders as well do the same thing.
I will clarify, for me, I call it out because I just think it's cringy and weird.
Yeah, it's
not
cringe.
Because for me, it's again, I side with the point before where I was like, oh, I'm not that offended by it, and if they do it like a Tongan one, then I'm like, yeah, whatever. I get it. People
Yeah,
are
for
dumb.
me, if
People
you're
do dumb
Tongan,
stuff.
do the Tongan sipitao.
But I mean, even if other cultures try to do the sipitao and they're a crap, I was like, you're crap. I'm not mad at you because you try to portray the culture. It's just because you're crap. You're just
True,
trash.
it's cringe. But at the same time, it's the same
Lamar's
thing.
face is like, what the hell?
Bro, I just went down. I'm like, wow.
You're just trash.
Even if someone is not good at something, what is the harm of them doing it?
Oh, it's not harmful.
True.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna if you're gonna do it and put it on the
Not
internet,
harmful. It's just
I'm gonna judge you.
then I'm gonna tell you it's trash. You put it on the internet. It's not my
put it on
fault.
the
Bro.
internet.
If you're ever on
I'm
TikTok,
gonna screen record.
if you're ever on TikTok and you see a comment and it's a trash emoji, you know who it's from.
Yeah.
People are gonna put trash emoji
Straight
on
up
our
this,
Instagram now. Trash.
Trash emoji.
Yeah, a lot of us Pasefika people, when it has come to like weddings and birthdays and church functions or family functions, I notice that if there's like do road dances and whatever, a lot of the time if we've been assigned India or Africa and whatever, we quickly try and whip up a dance, not understanding the words and whatever. In my mind, that isn't a cultural appropriation. I put it down if it's poorly researched and poorly executed. It's just like Sefa was saying. It's just trash. It's just lapisi.
Lapisi.
Yeah,
I agree.
lapisi. In Samoan, it is rubbish. Like for me, if you can't guara, don't guara. Just stick to what you said.
I know if you can't whine your way.
But I can.
Whine your way. That's the whine.
But I can.
No, I
Wine
agree.
your waist.
When it comes to islanders trying to portray African dance as well, especially because a lot of islanders, like in general, like y'all are just trash too. Like I'm gonna say it, you guys are crap at it.
What do you mean, y'all? Mean we? You two and me?
No, I'm not. No,
Sometimes-
I'm not trash. I portray it, but I portray it well. Sila, don't even try to leave me out here under the bus, because I know when we were talking earlier, you were saying everyone else is crap, but I'm good, so I can do it. You're not good.
But I'm a mean dancer.
For real.
It is.
But
Trash
then, like
emoji.
with what Ma was saying earlier, I think an attempt. I'm just like, oh, good for you.
Yeah,
Come on,
like
y'all.
I don't want people to feel like, oh no, like people. First of all, if you're gonna feel very insecure about posting something online, do not post it anyway. Like, but at the same time, go ahead. Like when you put something out on the internet, you best believe people are going to judge what you do. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of like a small paradox of like, oh, I don't want like all these hate comments, but at the same time, I want attention.
Yeah, you can't pick
I
the
want
kind
you
of
to
attention
pay
you
me.
get. You can't pick.
You know what the saying is? Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah. And to be honest, what I did see of that TikTok video, I was actually never mind. My point was that some of those girls were actually attractive. Really.
Yeah, so like if you want to do that, sis,
I was just like, if your point is to show off your body, I was like, go ahead, girl.
Post away.
Post away and tag
If you
me.
need help.
Tag
If
me.
you need help
So does
with
it
information,
does the
DM
emoji
me.
does the emoji change then from a trash to like what?
Aubergine.
A what?
He said to an
Aubergine.
eggplant.
A what?
Oh, yeah, way. To an eggplant, aubergine.
Carlo fight. I'm
This
dead.
guy.
Fans, it is the
Sully.
Sabbath day.
Because social media in general is just vanity.
Yeah. It's true.
But there are perks of that vanity. And to be honest, I'm one of those people.
That
The way I
one.
use
Yeah,
social
you
media.
are.
Oh, 100%.
So why do you do that then?
Because I love comments. Even, but to be honest, though, I
He
also
loves
love
praise.
I love praise. Oh, who doesn't? But I also love the hate too.
Yeah, of course,
Because
we all do.
everyone that's
It
close
gets
to
people
me,
talking?
well, everyone just kind of just hates on it, and it makes me feel good when I just respond with trash.
Yeah. Wait, because what was your personality again?
Debater,
Exactly. That's why.
Mess. A what? A what?
debater,
Mess? What?
and you're saying
it
I'm
correct.
nasty,
Say it
and you're saying
correct
I'm
this time.
nasty. Well, thank you for listening to our show.
Love the applause.
We are signing off. I'm Sefa.
I'm Sila.
To the fans, everybody in the. It was like a 5-second delay.
I'm going to leave it in there. I'm going to leave the delay as
damn.
if she wasn't
No,
paying attention.
don't leave the delay. Guy. Leave the delay.
And I am Lamah.